Eisen. He is at _Eric Davis _ Lots of underscores in this man's name. He normally is here in person, but you're moving, Eric? Is that what's happening? Are you moving?
Yeah, I got a little bit of moving going on, man.
Okay.
That's it. So, but I couldn't miss fat mouthing with you.
I appreciate that. So your life is in boxes, essentially?
My life is essentially in boxes, man. Not in shambles.
Okay.
But in boxes.
What is the one item you have from your playing days that you put in the best bubble wrap possible for your move, Eric?
Wow. The best. You know what? There's a photo that my wife had, an action photo that my wife had, and had an artist commission and painted of me that she gave to me for a birthday present. 25 years ago, and I actually took the time myself to take that one and bubble wrap it and make certain that it was protected.
What were you doing in that photograph? You were winning a Super Bowl in that photograph?
No, man. You know what? I was just standing out on the field doing me. I was. It was one of those, but just the expressions on my face and everything. He just sort of captured it. It's me. And I think if you ask any player to look at a card, a photo, or anything, they can always tell you what was going on in that moment, right in that moment. That moment that he captured was one of those times where it was all about ball, and I had that look in my eye, and that mindset was there.
Love it.
And it just, when I look at it, it reminds me of how I felt and how it feels to play the game.
Eric Davis joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. NFL Game Day Live is how you can chill with Eric every single Sunday while the games are going on NFL Network, along with the rest of the NFL Media Group platforms he appears on. So let's say, Eric, you're flying back from a win, and let's just say George Seifert is not putting you in the game as much as possible, even though he may not have any sort of say over that. But I think you see where I'm going. You find yourself on the plane flight home, and sitting next to you is Eddie DeBartolo. Would you use that moment to talk to him about the way the coach is using you in the same way that DeMarco Murray reportedly did with Jeff Lurie after beating the Patriots?
If he asked, if he were, because he's the owner. If he were to ask me, what do I think about what's happening, I'm going to tell him. Now the first thing I'm going to ask him, and I had conversations like this not only with Mr. Barlow, Eddie D, but with Jerry Richardson. We met all the time, and I can tell you the first thing I told Jerry Richardson is, do you want me to tell you the truth, or do you want me to tell you what you want to hear? So first we have to get the clarity on that.
How did he respond?
He said, you know me well enough to know I want nothing but the truth. And the first thing I told him was something that I thought he had done wrong based on the question that he asked. To be totally honest about it, he asked me a question, and he said, what do you think I did? I said, there's a capital letter that I used that you messed it up. And that's how we started the conversation off. So would I use that time to tell him what's going on? If he were to ask, I would tell him. But now the trick part of that, Rich, is that you got to be prepared for the response. And I think that's why a lot of guys don't want to do that. And I think a lot of guys misstep in some of those situations, because if you're a player, it's always personal when it's happening to you. People say all the time, it's nothing personal. Well, if it's happening to you, to your locker, to your jersey, to your family, it's personal. So you're going to tell everybody what's being done wrong to you and how you are being mistreated and how you're being falsely accused for these things. Now you need to listen to the other side of it. That's the only way you get it worked out.
So how did this get out? That's what I want to know, right? Somebody on that plane, somebody had to tell Ed Werder, the worldwide leader, that this went down. Somebody had to say something.
Well, somebody definitely saw them sitting next to one another, correct? Someone assumed that something was being said about the situation, and it was as simple as somebody asked. Someone asked, what was going on? Did you hear? Did you say this? And then that's what happened. Mm-hmm. So once you answer the question, it's out there.
So what do you think is going to happen? Because last time there's something similar to this, right? Ezekiel Elliott called out the play calling the coaches, and Urban said he was right and gave him the ball. It seems like our eyes will be peeled on Thursday Night Football to see if the Vikings hand the ball to Adrian Peterson a million times, which they should do anyway. What do you think Chip does with LaShawn in the house, the guy who he sent packing and then signed DeMarco Murray, presumably to fill the shoes? Do you think that this means more carries, that something does change with Murray's role on this team for the last month?
Rich, what week is it now? We're 13?
Yep.
How long does it take to see if a guy works in an offense? It's not going to change anything. Chip Kelly did not go after DeMarco Murray. Remember? He went after Frank Gore. Then he went after Ryan Matthews. Then he fell into DeMarco Murray. That's not the guy that he wanted. That's the guy he wanted away from Dallas. And it was actually a smart move. Dallas is not as good without it. He was hoping he would work. It doesn't work. It's obvious. We see that. So if you have these other running backs in and things are working a little bit better, why? Rich, you've heard me say it before. If I'm losing with you, I may as well try to win without you. So you can go and complain. You can go and cry. You know what I have on my side if I'm the coach? The film. I can actually say, hey, guys, let's sit down. And, Mr. Lurie, let me explain to you why I can't play him right now. Now, I do have to admit, I may have messed up, and we're going to try some things this offseason to try to get it going better. But look at this film. This guy can't do what I need done. It's not happening, and the film says so. That's the thing. That's the difference in college and the pros. All they're going to do is beat you up with the film. They'll hit you across the head with it every single time. When you try to say, I am this or I am not that, a coach is going to sit you down and say, look at this. Is this what we asked you to do? You're a grown man. You tell me, right or wrong. And it's not happening. So I don't think he hasn't put Chip in a position to where he has to play him. He doesn't. He's basically put himself in a position to where he has to show that he can remain on the team. He has to function, and he has to be able to produce, and that's what it's about.
Eric Davis joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. Is Cam your MVP through 13 weeks, 12 games, or is there somebody else?
Oh, wow. It's hard to it's hard. Yes. You know what? I'm just going to say yes. I'm not even going to be
I did that Monday, Eric. I think there's nobody even close, and I know what I'm saying about that with Tom Brady, and you know how I feel about Tom Brady. And Carson Palmer's balling out too, but this guy's the clear MVP in my mind.
Carson is balling out. He's having his best year ever by far. He has, he's running. That's the number one offense. The things they're doing, it's amazing. That's a scary, scary offense to face. Brady, the land that I learned to play football in. Yep. I still think Brady is going to go down as the best quarterback ever. I said that a few years ago. I'm with you on how I feel about Brady and what he's capable of doing. But Cam is doing more with less. And if you talk about the maturity of a player, we forget how young Cam Newton is. We forget because of the ugly fashion it happened in with the 7 and 9, but you forget that he's getting his team into the playoffs year after year. He's maturing. He's growing. He's gone from the guy with the towel over his head that people said couldn't conduct himself to what you would call a viable leader in that team. And he doesn't have the weapons. He's doing the same things that we give Brady credit for. Mm-hmm. Brady gets credit for not having these marquee receivers and these things and finding ways to win. Yep. Cam's doing it.
I agree, but why? You even hesitated, though, at the start. Why do you think people are hesitant to say what I've said and what you just said about Cam?
Because the world champs are led by Tom Brady, and they've only lost one game. so it's hard. That immediately popped into my head. It's hard to go against Tom Brady when this guy holds the ring, and we all know to be the champ, you got to beat the champ. And right now, they are still holding on to the ring. They are lords of the ring right now. And so that's the first person that pops into my head. Before Carson, before anything else, Tom Brady and what he has done, it's turning into a 2-year dominance that makes you think of him first.
Before I let you go, I know you're from a small school, Jacksonville State. We're talking about an 18 playoff here for major college football. What do you think about that idea? I mean, I think it can work 100%. What say you, Eric?
Division I sports.
Yep.
But Division I football is the only area in which you don't have the extended tournament. They finally got a 4-team. I've been saying it for years. I came from a small school in which you had to earn it. There, at the end of the day, there is no question as to whether or not you are the best. you have that game to win. You have the tournament and you go through it. We all know it's about the money that's being made in the bowl games, but you can find a way to have a system in which you extend it, and then it clears all of that. You can still have some, the major conferences, and if everyone says that these conferences get automatic bids and because of the level of play that they are in, well, that happens at every level. The regular season does matter because you are jockeying for position. Because when I was playing, it was the top 16 teams in the country. So you had an opportunity to sit there and fight, but you also had some regional areas that because those conferences were stronger, then you win your conference, you get in. I think you can still do that at the Division I level, and it will clear up all doubt as to who's the best. Just like in the NFL, the New York Giants can finish 9-7 and go on and win the Super Bowl and prove that they are the best team that year.
And do it twice.
In the college system, they wouldn't even get an opportunity to play for it.
I agree. I'm with you. Eric, have a good move, and we'll see you next week. Okay, Eric?
All right, man. All right, take it easy, fellas.
You bet. That's Eric Davis
See you,
here
Eric. See you, boss.
on The Rich Eisen Show.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.